صلوات الله. Want to continue Quran or just stop? Want to continue Quran? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما غلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يؤتيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات Ali Muhammad. Please take the time to read the Surah Fatiha for all of the marhumin, shuhada wa siddiqeen, your own marhumin, the marhumin of the family and all of the members of this community. They are helping to run this center, inshallah, with big salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Al-Fatiha ma'a salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So I think we are a little late in starting the there's a lot of echo. Yeah, hello. Hello. Okay, this is Assalamu alaikum. So we apologize for the delayed start. Just because of the logistics setting things up. But I think it's time that we should start the town hall. I'd like to invite all the EC members to come and sit on this on the chairs here. So. So the whole idea of a town hall, when we started this a couple of years ago, was to hear from the community. The town hall is a place where the community can voice their concerns, their feedback, their suggestions. And then we have the GBM. We have 2 GBMs. So every town hall is followed by a GBM, which will then and the GBM, the EC will come back and answer some of those questions if they were not able to answer them before, right? Or what actions they are taking to address the concerns of the community itself. So today, we are not going to be talking much. You won't hear much from the EC itself. We'd like to hear from you guys. What is it that we are doing right? What is it that we need to do more of? And what corrective actions we need to make? We also have a presentation that Abbas has put together, and this presentation is based on the survey that we had asked you to respond to. We have collected some results, and he's going to go through those in this session today. Okay. So with that, maybe I can open up the. We can start with the survey. We can start with the survey. Okay. Bas? So, how do we, is there somebody who is taking down the notes? So as far as questions are concerned, I mean, of course, it'll stop us anytime you want to and ask questions. For those who are on Zoom, the way to ask questions would be to just write in the chat. Somebody here would be monitoring your questions and we will try to answer those. And for some reason, if you're not able to answer those questions, we will actually either send out an email or try to answer them in the GBM that we would have, I think in a month's time or so. Okay. We are broadcasting in Zoom as well. On YouTube, on Zoom, and YouTube and Zoom. Both.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we sent out a survey to just gauge a little bit of the opinions of the community. And of course, today will be the continuation of those topics and any other that the community wants to talk about. But we want to start out with just kind of showing everybody what the results were. We had approximately 90 people respond to the survey. Can you hear me now? Okay. So we're going to go over essentially the results of the survey first, and then we'll kind of have an open discussion, as Brother Ishal said. To start out with, the first question that we sent out was, what does the community prefer? Do we prefer in-person programs or virtual programs? We had we had 85% of the respondents respond back that the in-person programs are preferred. Yes, 85% of the respondents said, right. Yes. We had, no, we had 90 respondents, not 90% respondents, right? So do we know how big the community is? About
the membership is 200.
So we're about
45%.
45%. Correct. put what is shared on Zoom on here? So, okay. So the next question, and that was directly related to this, is that if we want to have more in-person programs, uh, what is the status of our community regarding COVID-19 vaccinations? So we had asked that, if people are either already vaccinated or have had and recovered from COVID in the last 3 months. 91% responded that they were vaccinated, fully vaccinated already. We had about 4% that were not vaccinated, and the rest that had recently recovered, so had antibodies essentially. Okay. So next question was related children age 5 and up. So we asked the same question regarding their children. And we had 43% said, yes, they were fully vaccinated. About 32% said they don't have children, and 8% had recovered, and about 16% not vaccinated. So the overall, what we understood from it, that the majority of our respondents were vaccinated. And I think that played into some of the decisions that we'll talk about, in a few minutes here. The other question that we had asked was, what can we do to encourage more on-site attendance? And one of the, this question came from 2 places, right? One is we wanted to understand if the COVID restrictions or SOPs were basically are one of the reasons that people don't attend on-site. What we had noticed is that even when we do have on-site programs and have outside setup, we still have quite a few people that are not actually attending. We had 45% of the respondents said that yes, so relaxing COVID SOPs would be a way to encourage more. And we had 81% said better program quality. And then we had open comments in the survey that we're going to go over. Also, 15 people just skipped the question, so they didn't actually respond one way or the other. So when I say 45% or 80%, it's the people who answered, which was only 75. So for all of the comments that we got, what we have done here is kind of broken them out into what are the different themes of the comments, right? So for example, if the comment is talking about relaxing COVID SOPs or doing outdoor setup, that's one category. We have a category around programs, around youth focus, madrasa. So we're going to go over each one of that. The primary category, the first one is relaxing COVID SOPs or outdoor setup. Sorry, give me 1 second. I think. I've got to switch back into sharing here, I think. Okay. So some of the things that we either have already done or are looking at right now to basically better how we're managing the COVID SOPs. One, if you see actually in this main hall, you see 3 air purifiers that were deployed before our Shaban programs, just to improve the air quality. We also have essentially discussed, and what we're looking at is doing risk-based guidelines. So up till now, our SOPs have been pretty much the SOPs, and they've been in place for quite some time. But what we're planning to do now is essentially, depending on the risk, depending on what stage the city of Austin and our counties are in, and which that in turn is based on how many infection rate and hospitalizations that we're seeing in the area. Based on that, our SOPs are going to change. So for example, what you saw recently is in our last program here, we removed the mask and vaccination requirements from any of the outdoor attendees. Um, we'll be evaluating that as different risk level change. If for some reason, God forbid, the infection rate goes up again, we're seeing a higher impact in the community, we may put in more stricter guidelines or SOPs. But if the risk is low and we're not seeing that much of a spread in the community, then we'll gradually reduce the requirements and the regulations. I think one of the things that really played into that was also the fact that 90% of the respondents reported being vaccinated. So that gives us a little bit of a comfort in our community being vaccinated here. For programs, generally we're evaluating doing more on-site programs. We are also evaluating the different formats for the programs. For example, workshop format with question and answer sessions. We've resumed the Dua Kumail program. We're also exploring adult classes, panel-led discussions, and exploring various subjects and the Islamic perspective on it. So it doesn't always have to be essentially a lecture one-way type of a program, but different types of formats. So that will be evaluated with Sheikh and program committee to set up what any of these formats that will become feasible. If he had, so Wajahad, I don't know if you have any comments on the program piece and the plans.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. As far as the programs and program committee is concerned, we are working on, like Brother Muhammad Abbas said, we are working on different venues on how to engage the community more, have a topic set up, have different scholars come in, have more engaging programs such as lock-ins for youth, we are working on an art competition as well for during month of Ramadan. Just like more active programs that can encourage more participation from the community. So if you have any questions about programs, feel free to reach out to me or Muhammad Rizvi, who is the chair for program committee.
So next of our category for that was youth focus. So some of the things that are in plans for our youth are bonfire chats, which have already started. We have a couple of Friday night lock-ins that are planned for Ramadan. Okay, here you go, I think.
I'll take that one as well. My major focus for me and part of being an EC is to be the voice for the youth. If they have any concerns or a way we can support them to be more active in IABA, as a whole, EC is fully behind them. So we have some of the things we are working on and we will continue to work on is bonfire chats with visiting scholars or even with Sheikh Jafar, Friday night lock-ins during the month of Ramadan. We have set up 2 of those, one in the first 15 days and the next one in the following 15 days. Youth camp we are working on. There's a camp that Sheikh Jafar is taking all the way to North Carolina. If we don't get enough participation in that, we are planning on taking some elders to that camp and then coming back and basically replicating that camp in Austin so locally people can join. Friday sports night we are planning on bringing them back. There's a lot of workshops we are planning. and field trips as well. So a lot of things are happening for the youth. We are starting to see more and more participation from the youth as well in the past couple of events. So that's always a good sign. So during the 15th Shaban, we had Maulana Hazek Sheikh come and visit us, and we had a really good bonfire session with him. We had about more than 25 youth that showed up, all ages from, you're thinking from 9, 10, 11 to all the way to like early college. So it was really good. Got a lot of good feedback from all the youth as well. I got them after the event was over. I talked to them. They were very impressed. They were really glad they showed up. So we're planning on doing more things like that. So inshallah, what we need is for the parents to send their kids to IABA whenever we have programs, or youth to willingly, once they come, they will willingly want to come again and again. But we just need a little bit help from the parents to start sending their kids as well.
Thank you, Brother Rajab. One thing that I would add to that, essentially, because that applies to the programs and some of the outdoor setup and whatnot. We also, need the community's engagement in that. We need volunteers. We need people to step up and come help us do this, because this is a lot, right? And this is, the 7 people can't do that. We have committees that are right now needing more volunteers. So I know that we have been in a very much virtual setup for quite a long time. And what that means is generally people who are very active aren't quite used to being that active anymore. And I think we all are a little bit struggling with that. So, but I think we are asking for your help in stepping forward and helping us to implement these two. Next, some of the comments say the next category was our madrasa. I think a lot of people talked about how they actually want the madrasa to be on campus. I think we have our education chair here if they want to comment something on that, but that's what we would like to do also, starting in fall, and inshallah. So do you have any comments or plans? No? Okay. So inshallah, we will, in fall of this year, we will start the madrasa on campus. Right. Right. So from online, we will bring it on campus. I think the logistics of all of that will need to be worked out and with the education committee, but that's the plan.
So hopefully the building is ready by that time. But in any case, the facilities will be available for people for the madrasa to be on campus. So we'll make sure that the madrasa will be on campus.
Next category we had is essentially around communication. So we are working on essentially putting in a fixed schedule for the program emails that go out, and working on ensuring that there's standardization on how things are being communicated. We're also right now working on ensuring that some of our different email lists are synchronized, that everybody that needs to be on whichever list is actually on that list. Pursuant to that, if there is somebody that does not get emails or has any kind of an issue getting emails and wants to get on it, please contact us. You can contact me around that, and I can go ahead and get you added wherever you need to get added, whichever list you need to get added on. So we'll Okay. So for online folks, there was Brother Faraji was mentioning that sometimes a lot of people have complained that they're not getting emails, um, and there might be certain limits to how many emails go out and whatnot. We'll go ahead and look into that. I'll personally look into that, and we'll see what limitations there are. In the meantime, anybody who is not getting the emails that they need, right, please contact me. You can contact me on either WhatsApp or just email me. My email address is m.abbas@iaba-austin.org. So you can contact me there, and I can see where your email is. If it's getting stuck, if it's some kind of subscription issue or whatnot, I can go ahead and look at that. Okay.
Sure. You can send it to Abbas, or you can send it to the secretary as well. It's at secretary@iaba.org, right? And it should get there. Yeah, so we have multiple channels that we actually go through. One is the email, and of course, the other one is the WhatsApp channel. And we encourage people to get onto the WhatsApp channel because it's almost real time, right? So if there is a program change that happens because of weather or some other reason that we cannot hold the program here, the first information that is going to go out on that is on the one WhatsApp. So if everybody gets onto WhatsApp, it probably is the best means of communication. Okay.
Well, so for that also, if you are not on the WhatsApp group and you would like to be, please email the secretary at iaba-austin.org. And then last but not least, we'll be exploring robocall services if the community is interested. So I'd like to gauge the feedback of the community in that. I know at one point Madrasa did this last year where they had a automatic calls going out, call recordings going out when there were programs and that. So that generally works well for people who are offline or who really just rely on phone calls rather than any kind of WhatsApp or emails. Some people like him, some people don't because they feel like too many calls, different languages. So I think we are going to explore that as an option, and if there's enough interest from the community, then we will evaluate implementing that. That's actually a good idea from Brother Faraji that it could actually be a call-in check rather than a call-out robocall. So we'll evaluate both. Okay. So there were also some comments about holding programs in multiple languages. So regarding that, according to our bylaws too, we hold our programs in English, and the main program is always in English, but the poetry or Latmiya, Noha, those can be in multiple languages. Generally, we try to balance that, so there's one or two or three different languages that's based on how many reciters there are and wanting to recite. The reasoning behind that is a couple of them, right? One is we all talk about our focus on our youth and how the center is for our youth and for them to raise, for them to grow up with good Islamic values. So as far as, I know we all are, a lot of us came from different countries and speak our languages, but for the youth, their language is English. So that's one of the reasons that it's there. There's also just inclusion of all the community. English is kind of the common language among all of us, and IABA community is pretty diverse. There were some comments about holding parallel programs. Right now, at least, our space is very limited, and that's not feasible to do so. I think once we have the new building and we're kind of set, then we can reevaluate that if need be. But for now, that's not feasible for us to do. That being said, in case the community or anybody in there is not aware of this, the community can set up programs here on IABA premises in coordination with the program committee. Program committee. I've got a typo here on this. Sorry. So as long as it's not a program that's conflicting with a IABA program, our community is welcome to hold programs, private programs here on site, and they can be in other languages other than English. I think that's all I had from the survey results, and you want to for QA.
If there are any questions from the community members.
Sorry, I arrived late, so I don't know if you might have already covered this topic. So how's the financial stuff going on? The cost, the earnings, both for the current running costs as well as the new building? How much is needed or so?
So I think, Assalamu alaikum, I would say the question is, how are we doing, if I interpret it correctly, financially here in terms of operating and in terms of the buildings. So I like to say, I'll cover this in the next GBM here in more detail. But in terms of operating, we did very well in 2021. In terms of 2022 right now, we are tracking well. In terms of the building, everything is currently going on to plan in terms of financially. We have already paid about $1.6 million for the building. So, our projection is about, 2.7 million all in. So, paying for the building plus as well as furnishing it. So inshallah, we are in a good projection. We still have not taken a loan in the sense that we are still using our funds that we have in our banking account. So that is good. We haven't drawn our line of credit. So, I would say, and inshallah, we may not need to if we are able to get more cash in faster. So I think that's going to be the key is, converting our pledges that we have into cash as well as, getting new pledges.
Thank you. Do we have a rough breakdown of, what percentage of these is coming from, for example, donations or such stuff? If at all, IABA wants to be transparent of these aspects, because I don't know the policy here. Yeah.
Yes, we have it.
We okay.
Yeah, so it's usually shown in the GBM meeting.
Oh, there's another meeting for that?
That's
Got
where
it. Got it.
said-
Thank you. Thank you.
So the financials are covered in detail in GPM, but to give you, it's the general body, but to give you a rough estimate, we get about 50% of our sort of operational budget from the monthlies that we collect. About 25%, or about 14 to 20% is from both the Ramadan funds that we collect, Ramadan and Muharram funds. The rest comes from membership, and there's some other donations that come. Yes, Brother Jalal.
Let me do a plug-in for fundraising. So we're always fundraising, as he mentioned. We have two fundraisers, one in Ramadan and one in Muharram, that contributes to the operating costs. And in addition, as Taha mentioned that, or Mujlabai mentioned, we have monthly donation program as well. So we have around 60 or 60 plus people who are paying on a monthly level. That number needs to go up. Taha has been asking me to move that number up. So if anyone's interested in contributing on a monthly level, we take it straight from your bank account. So you don't even have to think.
What actions have you taken to increase that number? Because I
Yeah.
haven't heard that in the past 1-2 months at least.
Yeah, so usually on Friday programs we announce, and now we are sort of converging back to on-site programs. We do, when we do any fundraiser in Muharram and Ramadan, we do a drive for those monthly contributions as well, along with that fundraiser. So some people sign up at that time as well. Also, we've been asking existing members to increase their contribution if they can, because once the new building comes on board, our costs will go up, right? So we're already in deficit of around $2,000 a month, which we have to bring in from other places, right? Like homes or something. So ideally, we want to be self-sufficient, and we want to have enough monthly contributions to offset any expenses. Sure.
If we increase our monthlies and increase the donations, I think it gives us a lot of fiscal space to do something else as well. And there's a lot of things that we need to do. And that's what our goal is, actually. So we're estimating about a couple of $1,000 more. Yeah, the new building is going to be, in terms of the operational cost of the new building, other than insurance and everything else, it's going to be a pretty efficient building. If you notice, the whole building is essentially insulated with a foam which is about 4 inches thick. So it's a very well insulated building. So we do not expect that the electricity bill is going to go up. We have also decided to put solar panels on the building. So that is going to reduce the cost further.
But insurance costs will go up.
Yeah, so some of those costs, I mean, insurance is going to go up, water is going to go up, right? Those costs are going to go up. Inshallah. And I think we need your donations, right? I mean, this is a building that is for you guys, and it's here. Yeah. Any other questions?
So Ashar has done a good job of announcing on the Fridays to increase the monthly contributions. But I have noticed that for the last 1 year that you've been doing that, I have not seen much progress in terms of people, participating more. So it's kind of flattened out around 6,000, and the expenses monthly are 8,000. So is there some new strategy that you want to, bridge that gap?
I think it's a right assessment that we have sort of plateaued in the last year, especially in the COVID time, since we're not meeting people physically, right? So that's been one of the challenges. I think one idea that I think I discussed with you to present it when we're making new members, for example, right? They could have a little checkbox in the form itself where we can ask members to sign up for monthly donations in addition to, I know they're paying a yearly fee, but they could also sign up for this same thing. But yes, once we start meeting again, more in person, especially Ramadan and all that, we'll kick back all the efforts. So it's mainly high touch persuasion type pitch, right? You can send all emails in the world, but people do not sign up. So you have to corner people physically here to get, yeah.
During the history of the IABA, unique but expected fund They don't come with $100, $20. They come with the big ones.
Right.
So that's, I really appreciate that. This is the blessing.
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, correctly said that online fundraiser was a huge success. Even we didn't anticipate that kind of reaction. Um, and there's a difference between the type of funds people want to contribute to, right? Sometimes monthly one looks more sort of like a, yeah, yeah. So right, right. Yeah, yeah. So, but it's just like a perception of how you give, right? So some people are not okay with doing a monthly. They rather prefer like a big sum or something like that. So it's just a different. Right. It's a commitment, basically. Right. Right. Definitely. Definitely, definitely.
So one thing I'd like to add, just on numbers, and this is really, I'm proud of this, because if I look at what we got from the building and the donations and the combs, as an example, in 2020, we did 372,000. In 2021, we did 795,000. And that is cash. That's not pledge. And then the first 2 months of this year, January and February, we have done 121,000. So inshallah, so these are good numbers, and we want to continue that. So
I mean, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I mean, I think this is, yeah, I mean, the gratitude goes out to the community. Over the past, I think, whole project, the community has probably contributed about $2 million or so.
More than that, 800,000
For the, yeah. So it is, we have a very, very generous community. And we're so grateful for the community.
And I think we should also acknowledge some of our EC members on that side of the table have been very pursuant in bringing some of these funds. So big salawat for them.
Thank you, Sister Sue. So it's a really good question, and it's something. Yes, the question is first. Her suggestion was to restructure the finances and how we collect donations. Second part of her question was we are doing all these taking new initiatives of all the different programmings and stuff. How are we planning on bringing people back into IABA? And that's a wonderful question. It's something that we, even when new members come in, or when we have regular programmings, like in last Dua Kumel bonfire chat was about how how can we increase this bonfire, right? How to bring more, like have s'mores or have a movie night or things like that. Just one aspect of it is to be have more attractive programming. And then this, yeah, second part is to have better messaging on how are we promoting those programs. And third, honestly, like I feel like it's everybody who's coming into programs. When they see the program committee, IABA as a whole, working on providing like excellent programming, bringing scholars, having sessions and having bonfires and all that. The same people need to start talking. It's word of mouth type of thing too, right? Like it's like, oh, I had so much fun at IABA yesterday. Oh, it was really fun chatting with Sheikh on Thursday night. It's different aspects of it. Uh, it's a community thing, right? Like one committee shouldn't be held responsible to fix a lot of the issues, or one EC group shouldn't be responsible to. We are all working on this together. So we all need to do our part by word of mouth, or call our friends. If we are planning on hanging out or doing anything, just be like, here, let's go to IABA and hang out. Let's attend the program that's happening. Something similar to along those lines.
And I think it's coming out of COVID, it's also habitual as well. So I think we'll have to get back to that habit of coming back to IABA, right? I remember on Saturdays, nobody used to have any private programs because everybody knew that IABA will have a program, right? So I think we've sort of gone out of that habit. So I think it'll take some time back. But I guess, Asil, my question was, if you have any ideas or feedback, like what else can we do to bring people back?
I think it's a two-way street, right? We can put up the best programs that we can, right? But it is also up to people to get in their cars, get their children in the cars, and bring them over here. Some responsibility also lies on the membership as well to come here and make this their home. I mean, and what we can say from our part is we'll try our very best to have the best programs here. Right? We will have a regular cadence of the programs, and you can start to see that happening. Right? In Ramadan, we will have these cadence of Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday programs all through Ramadan as well. We're bringing in a new scholar, bringing in Sheikh Hazik. Last year, we brought in Sheikh Hazar during the summer months, but it also is on the community as well to come, and then on all of you guys as well. So you can ask your friends to come here. Come here and meet. Have fun here. Instead of going picnicking somewhere else, picnic here. Right?
Just one more thing I would like to add is that we're, one of my goals, and of quite a few other ECs share this goal too, is that we want more community engagement. And for that, what we mean by that sometimes is that we see that many people in the community don't share their opinions and don't share. Instead, they just leave, right? So I would ask all of your help to essentially convey that message too. Is if there's things you don't like, if we're not providing value in the programs or in the type of efforts that we're doing, please come talk to us. Send an email to EC, come to an EC meeting. We want that feedback so we can change things, because sometimes, we don't know what the community is feeling. We'll be doing more surveys too like this, but I think it's that concept of this is all your community. This is all for you guys. And this is not owned by us or not ours, right? This is the whole community. So please share with us what your thoughts are. So if there are things that need improvement, we can work on that.
I have a more process related question. So something I'm feeling a lack of. I don't know if it's a real problem or it's a perception that if I am, let's say, a committee chair, I don't personally know who I am accountable to, answerable to, or accountable for. And I don't see any mechanism that would keep me in check or monitor me that, hey, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. You're not doing ABC. Last year was a disaster. You promised XYZ, nothing happened. Wake up or leave. Nothing. There's no monitoring, no review. I don't even know who I'm answerable to. And I mean, I'm kind of going to tie this to Abbas's comment about volunteers. So if I have more volunteers, but I'm not doing my job properly, they'll just sit there and just wait for tasks and then leave. Because I'm not, and no one is asking me or keeping me in check. So my understanding of how the thing works is the real on the ground work is done by the committees, and the executive committee is, I'm not sure what they do, honestly. But if are they the decision makers, or are these committees the decision makers? How does this get divided? Who's accountable for what? That's kind of a question or a suggestion that if it's missing, we need to put that in.
So essentially, the process is that the EC is the final say. So EC has to approve whatever the committees want to do. If there's a budget that they have to get approved, that budget gets approved by the EC. And if you notice, right around the budget time, we would be coming to you guys and asking you about the committee budgets, right? And what are your plans for that? Okay? So once the budget gets established, then anything below $500 does not need any approval of the EC. The committee chair can actually allocate and use those funds. But again, the whole process is that we do ask, what are you going to do? For example, on the security side, we will ask, okay, these are the things that should be implemented, because that's how the budget gets established. So that's the process. I think what you're pointing out is that asking the committee chairs to come on a quarterly basis and present what they have done in that quarter, and are they actually in line with what they had said before. That, I think, definitely needs improvement. And I think that is a good suggestion, that it's something that you brought up, which is good. And I think maybe going forward, we will do that. But absolutely.
And along those lines, in the EC, there's probably about almost all the committees, if not missing one or two. So we got Sister Wasima, who has a food committee. We got Malik Tajanti, who's also part of membership committee. And Sister Wasima is part of membership committee as well. Brother Asher is part of fundraising committee. I'm part of program committee and youth committee. Like there's Brother Muhammad Abbas is part of security committee. So it comes to the perspective of how few people tend to do majority of the work, where we lack the volunteers and the committees being more populated by volunteers from the community as well, right? So I think, I don't know if I'm missing any other committees, but education committee, Brother Taha is here too. So, okay. Yeah, welfare outreach.
Requesting people to come and people that want to participate. We need to create some kind of enthusiasm. COVID has made it
So brother, so brother, to summarize your point, so I think what you're asking is obviously the process improvement and more like a retrospect, right? Like to see to set some sort of KPIs for each committee, right? Is that's in a nutshell what you're asking? I think point well taken. So we'll work on it.
So one thing I would add to that, and I think that's definitely going on our parking lot to go discuss further on how to, how to improve that process. A couple of years ago, before COVID and whatnot, the EC in the EC we did start a strategic planning session. We talked about how to align all of the different committees so that they are, it's not everybody kind of doing their own thing, and instead are aligned with the mission of IABA. So that's, we've had discussions about bringing that back in, some of the higher priorities right now with COVID and bringing everybody on site, and that has been taking our effort, but that's definitely also on the plan to bring back up and integrate with all of the goals for the committees themselves so that we can evaluate that upon what the goals are.
May I ask about your approach to asking for volunteers? How do you ask for volunteers?
There's plenty of emails. Even just today, the email went out to help clean up tomorrow morning. Again, from past experiences, we're going to see the same 8-10 people show up. I mean, there's very few venues for us to ask people, especially during the COVID, since we're not seeing people that much face to face, right? WhatsApp group, we're always asking. There's a volunteer WhatsApp group. There's also IABA announcement group. We ask on that. We ask via email. If I see people around, I'll tell them to come as well. But it's
something that some places might do is to be specific about the work they want people to volunteer. Meaning they specifically list, hey, we need volunteers for this little thing, for this little thing, for this little thing. Because if you don't be specific on that, then people are shy or lazy. I'm the laziest, okay? People are shy or lazy, and then if you don't specifically mention that, they would never even feel that, hey, I might be able to contribute. Maybe that would help. I've seen a school a couple of years back that on the first day of the school, they provide parents on the very first morning of the school, first day of your entrance day, they provided a long list about different topics that people can volunteer. And out of those many different topics, each of us would find something to contribute 2 hours for the coming quarter, and many of those 2 hours together was doing a lot of volunteer work for that place. So I don't know, maybe we might want to try that thing.
So we did, but the result was probably more or less the same. But we can try that again. And mashallah, Ramzan is coming, so I think, and starting from. No, but the thing is, point taken. I think that's basically what Brother Jalal is saying, is that if we reduce them into bite-sized sort of tasks, then we may have more.
Who's the hospitality chair so I can reach out to them to learn about these things? Not that I'm one of those good volunteers. I'm the lazy guy, but I want to learn just. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Just quickly, one thing to add to that, though, is that we have many times we're getting volunteers for those little tasks, right? We're doing a cleanup. We'll see people show up. If BMI or security sends something out and said, hey, we need 10 volunteers, we got 10 people show up, right? one in addition to that, though, what we need is people who can take responsibility for things, not just show up and then be told what to do, right? So part of that is, no, we need people who can commit their time. And then, it's a matter of training in that. We can provide that. But it's that commitment that is also needed, not just a one-time thing.
Okay, I think we should break for Salat, but thank you very much, I think, for coming, and I think good feedback from you guys. So, okay. If you, more questions and more feedback, just feel free.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما